The absolute power corrupts, absolutely, and that's what's happened to the delivery of medicine in the free world in the 21st century. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Dr. Peter Glidden, a naturopathic physician licensed in the great state of Minnesota to practice naturopathic medicine, formerly licensed in Connecticut, formerly licensed in Washington State. I've been practicing naturopathic medicine I've had clinical experience as a naturopathic student and physician for 25 years. I've had a private practice since 1992, and that's a long time to be in the trenches of naturopathic medicine. And by the way, naturopathic medicine is an ages-old profession that is really kind of coming into its own right now in the 21st century. The profession itself is going through some growing pains. There are some things happening in the education of naturopathic medical students that I'm not happy with, but nonetheless, I'm not the king of the world. It's still a much better medical education than the MD gets, and people need to be aware of this, and we need to be talking about this in the public forum. Because your medical doctor might be the nicest person in the world, but they don't know what's best for you. They only know what they've been trained in, and what they've been trained in is just an eeny-weeny, teeny piece of the pie of medical science. But the pharmaceutical industry has convinced you that it is the only type of medicine that you should pay attention to. They have convinced you that everybody except the MD is a back-of-the-bus quack that has substandard, dangerous training, even though MD-directed medical treatment in the United States is the leading cause of death and the leading cause of bankruptcy. The only people selling snake oil here have MD after their name. I mean, Vioxx is a perfect example. Boniva and Fosamax are a perfect example. These drugs are supposed to help you, but instead they hurt you. They don't do what they told you they would do. Instead, they hurt you, and they're exorbitantly expensive. That's the very definition of snake oil. You know, we've become culturally conditioned to just do whatever the MD tells us to do, and certainly they have the legal power to do it, and this is a problem. Nobody holds their feet to the fire. When the MD hurts somebody, nothing happens. Nobody goes to jail. They just wash their hands and brush it off to collateral damage. That's the practice of medicine. Shut up and take your Vioxx. What are you going to do? It's not a perfect system. Right? That's what they tell you. That's how they sell it, and we just bend over and take it again. And it's nonsense. The only reason we bend over and take it again is because we don't know there's a different way. Nobody has told us there's a different way. And the MDs have gone out of their way to keep us in the dark. My profession, it may interest you to know, is licensed only in 16 states in the United States. You know what this means? I went to a fully accredited undergraduate medical school, pre-med at university, the University of Massachusetts in Amherst. Got a Bachelor of Science in pre-med 1987 at the University of Massachusetts in Amherst, fully accredited undergraduate institution. From there, I went to a fully accredited medical school, Bastyr University of Naturopathic Medicine in Seattle, Washington, where I undertook a course of 4-year study, a doctoral degree granting program in naturopathic medicine. Sat for and passed my licensing exams. Sat for and passed my national and state board exams and secured a license to practice naturopathic medicine. Now, what this means is in Seattle, Washington, in any city or town in the great state of Washington, and in any of the other 15 states where naturopathic medicine is currently licensed and regulated, as a naturopathic doctor, I can deliver babies, prescribe drugs, isn't that interesting? Perform minor surgery, work in hospitals, order any diagnostic array that I want, legally call myself a physician, and it's covered by insurance. That's pretty great, right? The state of Washington is very progressive, and also there have been a lot of naturopathic emissaries in Washington that have been hitting the political streets hard all of the time, lobbying and levying for progressive medical care in the great state of Washington. And guess what? They got it. They got it. Naturopathic medicine is licensed and regulated there. But I can do all of these great things that I've been trained for in a fully accredited medical school. And by the way, in order for a medical school to become accredited, they have to go through a standardized accreditation process, and every school in the United States has to jump through the same hoops. It's not like the hoops for naturopathic medical school are any different from the hoops for Harvard. They're not. In order for Harvard to become accredited, to give a degree program that then, a medical doctor who graduates from Harvard is then eligible to sit for a medical licensing exam and secure a license in any of the states that license and regulate MD medicine, which is all 50. But the reason that happens, why does that happen? Why is it possible for someone who studied in Massachusetts to be a doctor in Minnesota? How is that possible? It's because of the regulatory bodies, the educational regulatory bodies. They take it upon themselves to mandate and make sure that all of the universities and all of the medical schools which are accredited have a certain standard of education that they bring to bear. So you can rest assured that whether your naturopathic doctor or your medical doctor studied in Massachusetts or studied in Louisiana or studied in California or Texas or Kansas, they got the same level of education. They still have to pass the tests, which are also standardized by accrediting agencies. But, we did all that. We came up to that bar and we passed it with flying colors. And when you look at the academic education of a naturopathic physician, it exceeds the education of an MD. We do more. We are taught more than the MDs are taught. We're taught more than the MDs are taught about diagnostic science, about pathophysiology, about biochemistry. The only thing the MDs are taught more of than a naturopath is drugs, and of course they can do unminor surgery. They can do major surgery. We can't. That's not my wheelhouse. Don't want to do major surgery anyway. But the fact of the matter is that we passed all of those. We jumped through all of those hoops. So why then is it possible for me to do all of this stuff, deliver babies, prescribe drugs, order any diagnostic technique I want, call myself a physician, get paid by insurance in Seattle, but in Chicago it's illegal for me to do that. In Boston it's illegal for me to do that. In Toledo it's illegal for me to do that. In New Orleans it's illegal for me to do that. In Miami it's illegal for me to do that. In Atlanta it's illegal for me to do that. Does that make sense to you? No. We do not have a free medical market here, and it's the same in Europe, it's the same in Canada, it's the same everywhere. We don't have a free medical market. We haven't. We don't. But the average Joe Schmo on the street doesn't know this. The average person on the street looks around and incorrectly assumes that the MDs must know what's best for them because the MDs are in the driver's seat, and therefore, by extrapolation, they believe that the MD is in the driver's seat because their therapeutics are better, more effective, safer than anybody else's, and it's not true. As a matter of fact, it's the opposite of true, which is false. It's incorrect. The MDs are inarguably in the driver's seat of medicine, but they're not there because their therapeutics are better. They're there because of political sway. They legislated themselves into first place, and they aggressively try to maintain their position at the top by making it difficult, nay, impossible, for other educated medical professionals to practice medicine. The American Medical Association goes out of its way to dissuade state legislators from allowing the practice of naturopathic medicine in their states. And it's nonsense. Should be illegal, but it's not. If the great state of Texas passed a law that said the only people that can sell gasoline in Texas is Shell, you wouldn't put up with that. If they passed a law that said the only people that can sell hamburgers in Kansas is McDonald's, you wouldn't put up with that. If they passed a law that said the only people that can sell rum in Miami is Bacardi, you wouldn't put up with that either. There'd be riots in the street. There'd be marches and protests. And they'd roll back that law faster than you can say Jack Sprat. But not when it comes to medicine. Because we have become culturally conditioned to genuflect at the altar of the MD. We think incorrectly that the MD is the man and that they know what's best for us. And that's the biggest mistake that we make with our health. It's the biggest mistake. Now, don't get me wrong. The MD is a good person, more or less, to go to when you have trauma, because that's the wheelhouse of the training of the MD. Trauma care. You know, you've got a bullet in your arm, you've got a broken leg, you've got a bleeding artery, you've got, a spear sticking into your back. Go to the MD for that. For everything else, it's a fool's errand to bring a body suffering from a chronic disease to an MD. Their therapeutics do not work. They don't work. I mean, look around. How many people do you know in your life that are healthy? How many people do you know that are in your life that are not taking prescription meds? How many people do you know in your life that can make it through the day without any Tylenol, without any Advil, without any prescription medications? How many? And how are they doing? How's their weight? How's their mood? How's their energy? How's their aches and pains? Everybody is sick and suffering. Everybody is sick and suffering. Everybody is sick and suffering. But because everybody is sick and suffering, we have become culturally conditioned to think that that's the way, that's life, baby. But it's only that way because we've taken the wrong dog to the hunt. It's time for a different way. It's time for longevity. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden. Going to talk to Phyllis in Florida when we come back. Stick around. Give me a call, why don't you? Lines are open. 844-374-5433 is the number to call to speak to me. 844-374-5433. That's 844 Dr. Glidden. That's DRGLIDDEN. And I ain't kidding. Dr. Glidden isn't kidding. Let's see what Phyllis in Florida is up to. Hey, Phyllis, thanks for the phone call. You are live.
Hi, Dr. Glidden. I want to thank you how appreciative I am for doctors like you that are trying to help us all. But I have a few health issues. I mean, it might be probably too much to go into all of it right now. But I got on Dr. Wallach's products about three weeks ago, and I find that the tangerine is much too sweet for me. I'm a borderline diabetic, but also my skin broke out and I have itching. And I don't know how to handle that. Could you help me with that, please?
Yeah, you bet. Well, first of all, the Beyond Tangy Tangerine may taste sweet, but it's glycemic friendly because the sweeteners that are in there aren't sugar. They're, xylitol and sucralose, or maybe not sucralose. I think it's just xylitol. I'd have to look at the label. But that product won't mess with your blood sugars. It just won't do it. If you're borderline diabetic, then our understanding of that is that when your body starts developing a problem metabolizing blood sugar efficiently, it's not because you're getting older, it's not because you have a voodoo curse, it's because your body has run out of the raw materials it needs to do that. Specifically here, there's a bunch of minerals that your body needs in order to properly metabolize sugar, and Dr. Wallach's got your back there. So in order to properly support and promote and optimize your body's ability to handle its blood sugar, what you need to add to your program is the Sweeties. I would do 1 bottle of Sweeties. It's called Sweeties, SWEET-EZE. Sweeties, 1 bottle of Sweeties per 100 pounds of body weight per month. Now, have you ever been allergic to, like strawberries or shrimp or anything like that in your life? Ever had a food allergy that you're aware of?
No, not that I'm aware of, Doctor, no.
Okay, so there's a couple things going on here. It may just be that you're taking the nutritional supplements in too concentrated a dose too quickly, and you need to dilute the stuff more and drink it more slowly. Could also be that you're having a bit of an allergic reaction to one of the fruits and vegetables that's in the Beyond Tangy Tangerine. That's entirely possible. So, are you doing the Beyond Tangy Tangerine product with the orange lid, or are you doing the one with the blue lid? Which one are you doing?
The orange.
The orange lid. And how much do you weigh?
Well, I'm about 200 pounds. I'm coming down my weight, but...
Okay, good. Well, look, your weight, don't be ashamed of it, because it's not your fault. It's not your fault. It's your doctor's fault. It is. I mean, it's your doctor's job to make you healthy. It's your doctor's job. Isn't your doctor supposed to be practicing health care? Well, they don't, because while you've been under their care, you're getting worse. I mean, things are getting worse. You're pre-diabetic, for goodness sake. What does your doctor tell you to do? Wait until you're diabetic and come back and I'll give you drugs. It's nonsense. But so in any event, right, now... Are you doing essential fatty acids? Tell me what supplements you're taking altogether. You're doing the Beyond Tangy. What else are you taking?
I don't have it right here with me, but it's another jar with a blue top, and it's a capsule, big capsule.
EFA.
It's the EFAs? Yeah, you have two of those. You have two of those a month?
No, I'm just taking one for now.
Okay, all right. So there's a couple things we can do here in order to increase the efficiency of this program. A couple things you can do. So at 200 pounds, you need to take 6 of the EFAs a day. So for 1 week, I want you to do 2 of those EFA capsules with breakfast, 2 with lunch, and 2 with dinner. 2 with breakfast, 2 with lunch, 2 with dinner. I'd like you to take the Beyond Tangy Tangerine with the orange lid like this. I want you to do 1 scoop in 12 ounces of water 3 times a day. And I want you to take an hour to drink it down each time. 1 scoop in 12 ounces of water 3 times a day, taking an hour to drink it down each time. And last but not least, Phyllis, you need to eliminate the 10 bad foods from your diet immediately. You can download that list for free at my website, fireyourmdnow.com. Clean up your diet, string out the doses of the Beyond Tangy, increase the EFAs for 7 days, and call me back. We're live today, March 27th, 2014. And I just have one thing to say to the listening audience. Oh, Canada. Corey Propp from the great province of Alberta, the great city of Calgary, on the phone with us right now to talk about Dr. Wallach's upcoming lecture events. Mr. Propp, welcome aboard. You are live.
Hi, Dr. Glidden. Thanks for taking my call.
It's always a pleasure, Mr. Propp. How is Team Glidden doing in Canada, and what's going on?
Oh, we're doing really well. Just on my way up to Edmonton right now from Calgary. Dr. Wallace is going to be speaking tonight at the Fantasyland Hotel, and I just wanted to put that out there so if people are in the Calgary or the Edmonton area, they could come and check it out. It's going to be a great event.
Really, really great. And then tomorrow, picking it up again, and then the next day, picking up again. When's Doc going to be with you down in Calgary?
So on Sunday at 2 p.m., he's going to be at the University of Calgary. And if you want to get all the details, they can go to drwallach.ca and register. The space is limited. We are filling up fast, but there's still some seats available. And if somebody's want to come see Dr. Wallach, they're more than welcome to come.
And that website again is drwallach.ca.
We're not abbreviating it, so spell out doctor.
All right, DOCTORWALLACH.ca.
Yes.
Boy, you got to love it. How's the weather up there, by the way?
It's white.
Yeah, but you're used to it. I've never seen, I have to, as God is my witness, I've never seen as many dirty cars as I've seen in the province of Alberta because they put so much stuff on the roads all the time because it snows all the time. Yeah, I mean, you wash your car and then 20 minutes later it's dirty again. But you guys know how to handle the weather. The last time I was up there, well, not the last time, but one of the times I was up there was in the middle of winter, and people came people drove for 3 hours to come and listen to one of my lectures. It was, I love the Albertans. They're a hearty bunch, a real down-to-earth bunch, and you guys are taking a big bite out of the longevity pie, and it's a very rewarding thing to watch.
Yeah, it's simply amazing. Met a lot of amazing people. Now I've been doing this for almost 2 years. It's been fantastic getting to know people that are like-minded, wanting to get their health back. Longevity is really about changing the health paradigm, and as well, we're changing people's economic paradigm. People can, jump on board and learn the system, the simple system, and, create wealth at the same time as getting their health back. It's just phenomenal.
You gotta love it, man. It's like, never fail fudge. All you have to do is follow the instructions and lean on a little support. We've got lots of support, lots of help. You guys are the greatest, Corey. Keep up the good work there. And call us back with a report at the beginning of next week. I'll look forward to it very much.
Thanks.
DOCTORWALLACH.ca. If you are a resident of the great state province of Alberta, if any of your relatives are, if any of your childhood friends are, if any of your college friends are, spread the word. This is how we do it. A grassroots coalition of the informed. I tell you, you tell someone, they tell someone. Before you know it, the entire world is healthy and wealthy. Let's go to Indy and see what Derek is up to. Hey, Derek, thanks for the phone call. You are live.
All right. We're always grateful to be able to talk to the doctor. This is a real sickle cell warrior, and just touching base with you, I am doing well enough to not only take care of myself, but we're not just licking our own wounds. We're now able to help other people. And so we have a gentleman that is has something I never heard of. I know you probably know about it. Deep vein thrombosis.
Oh, yeah, deep vein thrombosis. That's easy breezy, lemon squeezy. I'll tell you what to do to support that in a minute. But I don't want to let this one get away from me, Derek. So I know who you are, but I don't know if the listening audience does. So we've got about 9 minutes left in this segment. If you could give folks a brief rundown of your history pre- and post-longevity, I'd appreciate it.
Well, pre-longevity, I was pretty much subject to the whims of the medical system that pretty much did not give me any kind of hope. You just pretty much just were subject to the crises according to how the weather changed, your sleep, your diet, and just would be sick and hurting and going through the motions of going to ER and taking the medicine over and having to see colors and then trying to wean yourself off of seeing elephants.
So, all right. So, look, let's lay this out for the lay audience. All right. So, you were diagnosed with sickle cell anemia, and one of the things about sickle cell anemia is every so often people who have sickle cell anemia undergo what the medical profession refers to as a sickle cell crisis.
Right.
Now, when you would have a sickle cell crisis, what would it feel like and what would happen to your body?
Well, one of the things, it feels like knives are stuck in your body, but one of the things that happens is your muscles begin to spasm uncontrollably. That's one of the things that I noticed, and right before you get into a worse situation. But you almost are like Charlie horsing, where your whole legs and everything are like, you can see what's going on and you can't stop it.
Yeah, so your whole body's contorting. You can't stop it. You've got muscle contractions, out of control, runaway train muscle contractions. You feel like you're being stabbed with a million knives. I mean, that ain't very pretty, and that ain't a lot of fun. So, of course, before you knew better, right, you'd go to the only show in town, the MD Dog and Pony Show. So when you would present to the MDs in the face of a sickle cell crisis, what would they do for you?
Well, pretty much you would get some salt. You would get the saline, the IV, which you couldn't feel because the needle felt like a soothing thing. You were like, ooh, a needle, it distracts me, And they would get that going, and pretty much it would settle you down. They would pump you full of so many drugs that you would just feel wonderful.
Well, let's not overlook that. So they'd give you tons of pain meds, right?
Oh yeah, and that would actually keep you from swallowing your tongue, The only thing worse, I guess, is childbirth, but I'm a guy, so I wouldn't know.
So, all right. So from start to finish, right, how long would a sickle cell crisis last? 5 minutes, 5 hours, 5 days? How long?
Well, I mean, a bad crisis could last you 3, 4, 5 days.
Man.
You know, and, you're kind of recovering. Sometimes you go through phases of pain where you're saying, okay, I'm getting better. Then you wince again because the pain is almost like getting stung in the back by 2 bumblebees, out of nowhere.
I get it. All right. So now, before longevity, approximately how many times a year would you suffer with a sickle cell crisis?
Well, the main ones would probably happen maybe 2 or 3 times a year, so I wasn't that bad. I actually was considered good, and I would probably get real tired every week and hardly could make it through work, and at least once a month probably call in and have to be 2 or 3 days off and then try to recuperate and everything like that. But even with a bad sickle cell crisis, it could take you up to 2 or 3, maybe 2-3 weeks to really get your legs and walk again right without feeling like you're having a heart attack and just out of breath and exhausted. So even after you come out of it, it's hard.
Man. All right. Well, man. I mean, my jaw's on the floor, man. All right. So post-longevity, since you started longevity, cleaned up your diet, took the longevity nutritional supplements, how many times a year are you getting crises now, and what's your daily, weekly, monthly energy level like?
Well, I mean, my daily energy level is probably, like, comparatively speaking, it's not fair to compare it. Longevity is not fair. It's really good. Scale from 1 to 10, probably 10.5, 11.
So your energy is completely back, 100%.
Yeah, I mean, with probably half the food and drink and Snicker bars.
Isn't that something? I mean, that's really something. Isn't that something? I'm really glad that you said that. All right. Now, what about the, like, oh, my God, I'm getting a crisis, or, oh, my God, I'm feeling this, the sickle cell stuff is up in my face. How much has that been happening to you since you've been doing longevity?
Well, it's not really at all. I mean, sometimes I got to be careful because you feel so good that you push yourself and you get out there and run whole court with the 20-year-olds, and you're saying, oh, wait a minute. I can't do it. I'm 40-something. And so, you can cause a lot because I'm not used to feeling this good all the time. But even when you do that, you still recover. The recovery is incredible. Sometimes you can just sit down in a chair, and a few hours later or 24 hours later, you're back functioning pretty much normal. And it's like that's unheard of.
Yeah, I know. It's remarkable, isn't it? So really just really awesome positive changes across the board. And what about a full-blown crisis? Since you've been on longevity, how many times has that happened?
I think maybe twice. But like I said, the recovery was so quick, it's like recovering in 2 days, 2 or 3 days. And it's not like I went to a hospital or ER. Just could actually, through the learning and educational process, I said, well, wait a minute, my muscles are throbbing because of what I did, not playing ball or doing something too much. Just drink about 2 ounces of OsteoFX, and then it stops. I'm like,
So no more going to the hospital, no more having to saline, no more having them pump you up with drugs. The crisis is much reduced from what it used to be, and the recovery time is, like, remarkable.
Yeah, it's like really almost like you would think it's ridiculous.
Now, all right, man, so here's the $1 million question. I want you to be brutally honest with this, okay? I don't want you to hedge around this whatsoever. Now, how old are you?
I'll be 48 2 months from now.
All right, good man. And how many years have you been going to the MDs for sickle cell stuff?
Since I was 19 years old.
Okay, so that's 29 years. 29 years you've been under the care.
Than me.
Pretty good, huh? That was pretty good, wasn't it? Pretty good, right? Yeah. All right, so now, and how long have you been doing longevity?
I started probably in around September, October of 2012.
Okay, awesome. So in the time that you've been doing longevity and improving remarkably, have you been back to the MDs at all?
Only for them to check my blood and say, wow.
And what? All right, so they saw your improvement with objectified blood measurement, and I'm sure they talked to you about what your experience was. In the face of your remarkable improvement and objective blood work that showed everything's better, and the MD says, wow, did they then follow up and ask you how you did it or what you were doing differently?
No, just said kind of, what are you doing? I said, I'm taking these vitamin products and longevity, and just kind of said, well, his own words were, you really don't need me.
But he didn't ask you what the therapeutic was or how to get information about it.
No, when I try to offer it, it's like, well, that's fine.
And this is very telling, ladies and gentlemen. This is very, very telling. You would expect a person who dedicated themselves to the practice of medicine as an MD, you would expect that if they saw a remarkable healing with their own eyes and had objective laboratory evidence to prove it, that they would want to know every single solitary thing about it so that they could help the next person. That's what you assume and expect from your medical doctor, but that is never what they do. It is never what they do. And this is a crying shame here. These people should be ashamed of themselves for calling themselves a doctor in the face of recovery like this. I'd be all over this. I'd be all over this like white on rice, but not the MD. One more reason to knock them off their pedestal. Ladies and gentlemen, as God is my witness, fire your medical doctor now. They do not deserve your respect. More with Derek from Indy when we come back. Stick around. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We have the great privilege today, and it is a privilege, quite frankly, and an honor to be speaking to Derek from Indy, sickle cell warrior, standing up not only for his health, but for the health of total strangers. And that's the type of people that longevity attracts. If you're on the fence about longevity, you have to just ask yourself, well, why? I mean, what do you have to lose? The company has a 30-day money-back guarantee. You got nothing to lose. You want to take something out for a test drive, kick the tires, slam the doors? Just order one bottle of the plant-derived minerals. One bottle of the plant-derived minerals is $20. Take 1 ounce twice a day for 2 weeks. 1 ounce twice a day for 2 weeks. And if you don't feel a difference in 14 days, I will eat my hat. And I love my hat. Proof of the pudding is in the eating. Let's finish up the first hour with Derek. I think he has a question about deep vein thrombosis. Derek, are you still with me?
Yes. I just want to say one more thing because I think it's really important that people understand this. That when I first tried longevity, I was a little skeptical because, I thought, like everything else, it may make me feel good for a while. And like pain medicine or something else, it could actually probably not work as good as time goes on. But to my surprise, I experienced the opposite. It seems like when I was obedient finally, as much as I can to the gluten thing, it's hard for a brother to not do that after you do it all your life.
Right.
But I noticed that your body begins to seem like work better over time, and your absorption goes up. Everything seems to get better instead of like fall off. And I just wanted to add that for those people that are skeptical about trying something,
Well, see, here's the thing. I'm with you 100%. But people, and I understand what you're saying. We get this all the time, man. But people truly aren't skeptical because people are closed-minded and they're a little cowardly. If people truly were skeptical, they would question their MD about the drug. Well, doctor, who made the drug? How does the drug work? What's in the drug? How is the drug going to help me? How is the drug going to hurt me? How much are you going to profit from the sale of the drug, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? If everybody asked those questions to the MD, because they really were skeptical, then they wouldn't do the drug therapy because, number one, it doesn't work. It doesn't get to the root cause of the problem. It's expensive. It's dangerous. It's loaded with side effect, yada, yada, yada. And, this is just human nature, and it speaks to the cultural conditioning that we have to chip away through, right? Remember, man, the sower had good seeds. Some fell on rocky ground. Some the birds got. Some got choked by the weeds, right? But some, like you, fell on fertile ground, and that makes everything else very much worthwhile. So listen, man, for deep vein thrombosis, That's inflammation of the veins. There's an inflammatory condition in the veins in the legs, so we need circulatory support. We need to support and promote the structure and function of healthy circulation in the body and vein health. We do vein health with selenium. It's 1 selenium per 50 pounds of body weight per month, not to exceed 4 selenium a month. 1 bottle per 50 pounds per month, not to exceed more than 4 bottles a month. So even if they're 250 pounds, they only get 4 a month. We also need HGH Youth Complex to support and promote vein health. The recommendation there, 1 bottle per 100 pounds per month. And I like to dose that with 6 capsules twice a day. Well, 6 capsules once a day per 1 bottle. So if they take 1 bottle a month, it's 6 capsules immediately before bed. If you've got 2 bottles a month, it's 6 caps before bed and 6 caps before breakfast or as soon as you wake up. So it's 1 bottle of HGH Youth Complex per 100 pounds of body weight per month. And we round all of this out with the Anti-Aging Healthy Start Pack. The Anti-Aging Healthy Start Pack. 1 per 100 pounds of body weight per month. Plus, of course, eliminate the 10 bad foods. One last thing I want to comment about your gluten comment. You're right that the longer that you stay away from it, the better you feel. But the corollary is also true. If you've been gluten-free for a year or 2 or 3 years and then you fall off the wagon and, you're at a buddy's house and you have a piece of pizza or you have a hot dog with the bun, you're going to get hammered by a small amount of gluten. This diet proves itself, and it's another testament to the unrivaled intelligence and wisdom of Dr. Wallach. Derek, you continue to be the man. Keep up the good work, man. Your community needs you more than you know. Second hour coming up, folks. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden, and this is Fire Your MD Now.